Hello, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Mid State League Weekly and the Willie Stimmage Podcast. We cover Harvard Preparatory School athletics. We give you the scores, stats, and updates from around the league. And we just go talk all things Harvard Prep. Hey, man, my name is Willie Stimmage, and thank you guys for tuning in. I think we on Facebook Live. We streaming somewhere on the Spreaker app. Give us a shout out on social media, all social media. I'm everywhere. Twitter, MSL Weekly, Facebook.com/MSL Weekly. You probably see me right now. Instagram at Willie Stimmage Photography. Hey, drop me an email with your comments at infoforwillie@gmail.com. That's infoforwillie@gmail.com. Hey guys, we're going to just start out talking about all things Harvest Prep. We're going to give you scores, updates from around the league, and we're going to finish strong at the rim and let you know what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks. With that being said, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Woody Stimmen. I want to start out by giving kudos. I got my 270 Hoop shirt on. Shout out to Zach Flair. Shout out to Jason Morrow. My homies. I'm rolling with them guys. Them guys, man. Zach, you are awesome, man. Jason, you're awesome, man. You guys keep us updated. What's good, Facebook? What's good, Harvest Prep? What's good? Who you rolling with? I guess you're rolling with me because you listen to me right now. Thank you guys for jumping on board, though. That's just my opening rant. Let me just play this little clip from Zach Flair, and then we'll get right into it.
A little bit. Let's go to D3. Worthington Christian, one of the favorites, two-seeded in their bracket. Harvest Prep, the one seed. Who's the team to beat in that region? It's Harvest Prep. They've been to the state finals 3 of the last 4 years, I believe. They have the best Division III player, C.J. Anthony, and they're the one seed. And in Division III, nobody wanted to go to their bracket. Everybody went to Worthington Christian. Worthington Christian's a great team, don't get me wrong. They have a freshman there, DJ Moore, who is a big-time talent. I think he has what it takes to maybe be a high major player, but right now it's Harvest Prep. But with Worthington Christian, though, still with those guys, they have guys like McKimba Marlins, they have guys like Tyler Kinberg that really know how to play. They're going to miss, though, Derek Harden, who's a senior that was their best shooter this year. He tore his meniscus. He's out for the rest of the season, so that does hurt their depth. But I feel like Harvest Prep, with Coach David Dennis, they play elite team offense. They defend at a high level. They're going to go to the Athens region, which they wanted. That's the place they've gone the last couple of years when they went to the state finals. That's where they're going this year. And if they can have a matchup with Wheelersburg in the regional semis, regional final, that could be a big-time game that, anyone going to OU, you're going to want to see that matchup because Tanner Holden for Wheelersburg, Wright State commit, big-time player. He had 32 points against Harvest Prep in the regional semis last year. So that could be a regional final matchup for them to get back to the States.
All right, there you have it from Zach Flair, 270 Hoops, and he's right. Tanner Holden, man, he was giving Harvest Prep the business last year, but the other 4 guys couldn't really do nothing. Harvest Prep got out of that one. But they, like you said, they might meet up again, but it's one game at a time. It's one game at a time. So with that being said, let's just jump into what happened this week. Harvest Prep had a slew of games this week. I know those guys gonna need some rest before the actual tournament starts. So Monday, they took on Bishop Rosecrans, but there's no stats to report for Harvest Prep. For Bishop Rosecrans, Western Nern had 13 points, and Harvest Prep defeated those guys 85-46. So I know the guys really got into it because I follow these guys all the time. But there's nothing to report for Harvest Prep. Nobody posted any scores, anything. First quarter was 17-7, Harvest Prep. And then Harvest Prep scored 26 points in the second quarter, which they went into halftime with the lead, and they kind of closed it out 85-46. Second game, it was on a Tuesday. I mean, right after Monday. So, Harvest Prep took on Grove City Christian. Final score 94-32, Harvest Prep. And I'm looking at C.J. Anthony had 31 points, and Grove City Christian had 32 points. This guy outscored the whole Grove City team by himself. He had 31 points. What's up with that? Kudos to you, CJ. Thank you, guy. I mean, this guy, he's been balling, man. Kudos to CJ. Though he's been balling since I met this guy in Buckeye Prep in the AAU, and then man, I tell you, he's been lighting it up, man. But like I said, there's nothing to even report for Grove City Christian. I mean, who's the highest scorer on this page? Baker. He only had 8 points. So, for Harvest Prep, see, like I said, CJ Anthony, 31. Bryce Beavers, 9. Brandon Beavers, 7. Ralph Robinson, 2. Andrew Tate has 17. Good production for Andrew Tate. We need more of that. In the upcoming months, Raymond Robinson had 8. Elijah Glenn has 7. He didn't left the game. I guess he got elbowed in the mouth or something like that. He was bleeding, so he kind of left the game. Brian Beavers had 11, and kudos to Brian Beavers, man, getting himself on that varsity team. I watched this guy all the summer in AAU. He earned that position. He earned his spot, and he's producing 11 points. He's had that shot, man. He puts that shot up, and he scored 11 points. Malachi Henry with 2 points. Sol Hines did not play because of rest, getting them ready for the tournament run. In this particular game, Harvest Prep won, and they are the 6th repeat champions of the Mid-State League Cardinal. They cut down the nets, so forth and so on. But my thing is this: I'm glad that was over. They could put that Tuesday record in the file cabinet, because once you win, you celebrate your win, but then again you have to focus on the next phase. You got to keep focused on the next phase, and the next phase was on Friday. They took on Fisher Catholic at Fisher Catholic, and they defeated them 90-67. And the highest score of Fisher Catholic was Bryson Vogel. He had 21 points. It was 20-18 in the first quarter. I mean, I wasn't there, but man, they Fisher Catholic really stuck with Harvest Prep. But Harvest Prep went on a big run, and it was 51-34 at halftime, and they went on a 31-16 run to outscore Fisher Catholic. And like I said, Fisher Catholic, Bryson Vogel was the lone scorer, 21, and Bailey Francis had 17. But for Harvest Prep, Avante had 5, C.J. Anthony with 25, Bryce Beavers with 3, Brandon Beavers had 5. That was a pretty low scoring game for Brandon. Andrew Tate had 16. Good job. I mean, I like that. I see the production. Tate getting involved, Tate attacking. I like that. I mean, he's really getting involved in the game. Raymond Robinson with 12 points. Elijah Glenn had 16. That was a good outing. Anytime you get in double figures, I kind of like that. I mean, that's a balanced scoring. And Brian Beavers was 6, and Malachi Henry with 2. I mean, you got CJ with 25, Andrew Tate with 16, Raymond Robinson with 12, Elijah Glenn with 16. That's good balance. That's good balance from the Warriors, and they're gonna need all of that and more when the playoff season start, which is coming up pretty soon, man. Next week, I believe it's next week. Then Saturday came around, and the Harvest Prep played again. So they took on Mansfield St. Peter. Don't know nothing about them. Right at this point, I don't even care, because Harvest Prep won 86-47. So that game is history. Harvest Prep came out. They showed lockdown defense, and their perimeter shooting was pretty good. I mean, pretty good. It's real good. Perimeter shooting is good. For St. Peter, Mansfield, Ramsey had 10, and Luke Hendricks has 14. That was the only light spots for Mansfield, because they couldn't get past that Harvest Prep defense. They can't stop Harvest Prep on the perimeter. They couldn't stop Harvest Prep going to the rack. They couldn't stop Harvest Prep on the boards. Elijah cleaned up a lot of that stuff on the boards. Tate, good production. For the Prep Warriors, Avante Duncan with 13. Hey, kudos. AD getting it done. I like that. AD with 13. CJ Anthony with 27. Bryce Beavers with 5. Brandon Beavers with 11. Ralph Robinson with 2. Andrew Tate with 16. Raymond Robinson with 6, and Elijah Glenn with 6 points. So Hines didn't play. Like I said, he was resting for this upcoming stretch, and that's another 12, 14 points right there. You missing, and that he could have. And Soul's good. Soul's good off the Soul's been there for a minute, so he knows the system. Let me just share this, man. This is me. Are we satisfied with just a 6 feet? Are we satisfied with just cutting down the nets? But holding it, are we satisfied with cutting down the nets? Or are we satisfied with holding that trophy at the shop in March? You know, the motto of Harvest Prep is humble and hungry, and we just been starving for a state title. So you might was, and even in the huddle, Coach Dennis said, "What time is it?" You know what you guys said? Let's eat. So if you starving for a title, you better start eating. And you can start eating next week when you play international. You can eat those guys up, man. I don't think they can be able to compete with you. They cannot, you know. My grandmother said when she told my mom, she said, "Tell them boys to come on in and eat." And she had the table set and we ate. So I'm going to tell you, Harvest Prep, all you boys, come on in. It's time to eat next week. And there's plenty to eat. Start with international. So with that being said, I'm just shooting a jive. What did you learn from last year's state tournament? I know you got up in it. You went all the way and you lost in the last game. And I keep saying it, I'm still pissed because we had the perfect team. We had enough. We should have won that game. But so much for that, Let me see here. What adjustments are you going to make this year? I mean, it's going to be player rotation. It's going to be the tempo. Speed of the tempo. All these things coming into play. We're going to make adjustments from what we learned from last year. But I know Coach Dennis has the recipe. I know he has the recipe. Coach Dennis has been there. He knows what it's like on the big stage. He's been there. He's been there with the girls. And he's been there with the boys. Man, he's been there. He knows the recipe. And he's going to get these guys ready. I know he's going to get them guys ready. We got a lot of graduating seniors. I know they won a state title. Only person I was CJ Anthony. I think he can develop Mario. I think he can develop Kenneth, Malachi, Brian Beavers. Man, playing with this guy, I know they could feed off him. So I think CJ would do a good job next year. Harvest Prep has been knocking on the state door for a minute. So, but I went back and looked at all the state runs for the last 5 years. 2008, of course, they lost to Afrocentric, 54. I think it was 54-52. And I'm looking at C.J. Anthony was 2 for 5 from the 3-point line. He scored 20 points. Sohan was 3 for 8 from the 3-point line. He scored 13, and he had 11 from Claudio Pena. But everybody else, Avante didn't score. Sean Peterson didn't score. Rob Robinson didn't score. Elijah Glenn didn't score. Brandon had 4. Isaiah Cumberland had 2. So you need a lot of production in that. And this was one of the lowest scoring games last year for Harvest Prep. I mean, the year before that, 2017, they got bounced by Grove City Christian. Matt Bailey with 14. Brandon Baker had 17. That was pretty. I was salty about that game, man. I mean, it is what it is. 2016, Wellington 42, 44, Harvest Prep 42. They didn't make it that year, but they've been knocking it. And this is the year they won it. 2015, they took on Haviland Wayne Trace, and they defeated those guys 63-53 in the 2015 Boys Division IV State Semifinal, and then they went to the finals. But I'm looking at Charles Aiden. He was 2 for 2 for the 3-point line with 9 points. David Dennis Jr. 1 for 4. He had 19 points though, but his 3-point was kind of off. He had 1 out of 4 threes But Dana Kaufman really lit it up. Dana Kaufman was 4 for 9. He had 22. But that team they had with Rael Whitley and all those guys, man, they had Rael Whitley, Dana Kaufman, Charles Aiden, David Dennis Jr., Michael Fry, Bryce Clark. Man, those guys was like Jordan Clark, the Clark brothers. I mean, they was on fire. So, but like I said, Harvest Prep, they was 6 for 30. They only shot 46% in that game. With a total of 42 at the end of the game, it was 42.1% from the 3-point strike. And that's good information there. Then in the final game that Harvest Prep played, they took on New Madison Tri-Village. And that score, they kind of lost. This was the state final. This was the boys, 2015 boys division state finals. And they could have won this championship, but they was come up short, 48-46. David Dennis Jr. shot. He could he hoisted a 3-point at the end, but it didn't make it. But that if he'd have made that, we'd have beat those guys. We'd have tied it up anyway, but we'd have beat them. It was 48-46. All we needed was a 3-pointer. Even in that game, Jordan Clark was 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. He only had 9. David Dennis Jr. was he had 14 points, but he was 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. Kaufman was 2 of 7, and Rael Whitley was a beast on the board. He had 15 total rebounds. He only had 8 points. Dana Kaufman had 10, and they come up short there. But actually, David Dennis Jr. and Rael played almost the whole game. Each one of them had 32 minutes. They played 32 minutes in that game. First half, there was only 20% shooting from the field. That's not good. And this team cannot shoot 20% from free. They only shot 28 points from the 3-point line. So we're going to need more than that. Okay, guys, so much for that. This is Harvest Prep right there. Let me take you down the league. Got to do this right quick. Next year, see, we got all these seniors. Raymond Robinson, Ralph Robinson, Bryce Beavers, Sol Hines, Andrew Tate, Avante, Brandon Beavers, and Elijah Glenn. They all leaving. So now we got to rebuild. 9 seniors, only 5 returning players. But I think this guy's playing around CJ. I think CJ can develop him. That's just my opinion. For this week, that was the first segment of Harvest Prep. With the scores this week for Burn Union, they took on Lakewood. They lost to Lakewood 34-33. Wednesday, they took on Circleville. They lost to Circleville 62-38. Friday, they took on Bishop Rosecrans, and they got bounced 59-46. So Tuesday in the district, they're taking on Groveport Tuesday at 7 p.m. For Fairfield Christian, Tuesday they took on Federal Hockey. It was 64-62. They won that game. And Friday they took on Wellington. They got rear-ended 80-48 by Wellington. So Tuesday next week, the district game will be Millersport. So Millersport and Fairfield Christian will be doing battle in the first round of the district tournament. For Wellington, Monday, they took on Columbus Academy. And Columbus Academy beat them 62-50. Wow. Wellington took on Bishop Ready, and Bishop Ready beat Wellington 63-54 on Tuesday. Then Friday, Wellington took on Fairfield Christian. I guess they took their anger out on them 80-48. So their first round game will be Horizon Science, which will be Monday the 25th at 7 p.m. So they should be able to get by those guys. And for Fisher Catholic, Tuesday they took on New Hope Christian 48-38 with the victory for Fisher Catholic. And then they lost to Harvest Prep 90-67 Friday. So their first round game will be Patriot Academy Tuesday the 26th at 7 p.m. And last game, Grove City Christian, Tuesday they took on Harvest Prep. They got bounced 94-32. Friday they took on Millersport. They won 63-56. Tuesday they took on Burn Union. No scores to update on that one. No scores to update on the Newark Catholic game either. So Monday the 25th, they'll be taking on Alpha Centric. So that should be pretty good contest. If they can pull that one out, I think Grove City would be pretty happy. But Alpha Centric's they go bring the smoke. So I don't know if they can handle the smoke. So but it is what it is. It's playoff time. It's one and done season. That go for everybody. It go for Harvest Prep too. It's one and done season. So you better bring your A game, or you're gonna be sitting at home, thinking you should have been there, thinking what could I did, thinking you ain't got time to think now. You better know that you're gonna win. You better know what you're gonna do. All right, let me give you these little updates, and then I'm out. Boys high school basketball area leaders for scoring. Ben Roderick averaged 21.8 points a game, and Vaughn Cameron Davis 27.6 for Walnut Ridge. But you got the guy from Hartley, Safford, 25.6. Dallas Patrick, 24.8. CJ Anthony comes in fifth in area scoring with 24.5. On the assist category, Brandon Beavers, averaging 5.6 assists per game out of 18 games. 3-point category, CJ Anthony is on this list in the three-pointer. Out of 55 attempts, averaging, let me see here, 130, averaging percentages 40.8 for CJ. Area press polls, Division 3. Archibald is number 1. Willisburg is number 2. Harvest Prep is number 3. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get into, Worthington Christian number 11, but I'm just thinking about Harvest Prep. So they're number 3. And even in the dispatch polls, Harvest Prep is number 1. Worthington Christian number 2. Johnstown is 3. Columbus Academy is 4. Grandview is 5. And Fairbanks is 6. Okay, now let's close this out. Your final Mid-State League Cardinal division. Harvest Prep is 20-2 overall. Rosecrans is 18-3. Wellington is 13-9. I cannot believe they lost 9 games this year. Fisher Catholic 15-7. Burn Union 12-9. Grove City Christian 5-15. Fairfield Christian 8-13. Middlesport 3-17. Here are your final conference standing. Harvest Prep 14-0. Rosecrans is 11-3. Wellington is 10-4. Fisher Catholic 8-6. Burn Union is 6-7. Grove City Christian is 3-10. Fairfield Christian is 2-11, and Middlesport is 0-13 again. And it's every time it's like that. I don't know why. Let me give out some trophies and some hardware. Harvest Prep, Sol Hines, second team All League, Mid-State League Cardinal Division. David Dennis Sr. is the Coach of the Year for the Mid-State League Cardinal Division. Andrew Tate, kudos, honorable mention, All League, Mid-State League Cardinal Division. Elijah Glenn, kudos, first team All League MSL Cardinal Division. Brandon Beavers, first team All League MSL Cardinal Division. CJ Anthony, kudos, Player of the Year in the Mid-State League. This guy is he was a freshman of the year. He was a Player of the Year. What is going to be next year? That's what's up though. Now, Harvest Prep's first game will be international. Monday, February the 25th. It will be at Harvest Prep. This is game 1 of mini game. So, what time is it? Let's eat. Eat these guys up. Let's go. The seeding for 270 hoops. Harvest Prep is seeded first. Alpha Centric is seeded 7. International seeded 25. Who else you got in here? Bishop Ready is seeded 10th. That's about it. Anybody else? Liberty Union, Knox, East Knox, Grove City Christian Division seeded 24th. So that's it, man. There you have it. I have nothing else. So with that being said, let me get some shout outs before I close this out. Shout out to the Ohio High School Athletic Association Executive Director, Jerry Snodgrass. Thank you, guys. Director of Communication, Tim Street. Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association for allowing me to bring the podcast and shed light on Harvest Preparatory School. Harvest Prep Athletics. Shout out to Mr. Dave Wolf and Coach Dave Dennis. And salute, I mean, thank you. I mean, I just applaud you for Coach of the Year. You work real hard, man. All my social media partners with all the updates, 270 Hoops, Dispatch Sports, Max Prep, This Week Sports, Wall to Wall Sports, Game Breaker Magazine, 270 Hoops, all the rest, man. You know the deal. Thank you to listening audience for tuning in. And if you got anyone to listen to the show again, you can pull it up on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, and the list goes on and on. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Willie Stemich. Thank you for this rocking with me for this last 30 minutes. And with that being said, I got two fingers up. That means peace. I'm out.